one of the next topics I did want to like ask you. Obviously, we're talking about like fit. We're talking about just overall draft. So obviously, like they've drafted best available, but do you think they're gonna have a top 5 pick? Do you think that they should just go for the fit because they've tried best available and it hasn't really panned out for them so far?
Yeah, I think that it's just going to depend on who that is, honestly. This class is interesting because there isn't uh, a crazy hierarchy in terms of like the top prospects. There's a lot of different guys towards the top. There's some that probably don't make a ton of sense there. In terms of like just a pure upside, like if you're picking Donovan Clingan top 5, I just don't think that would make any sense for what the Pistons have going on. Even though I think that he's going to be a solid NBA player for what he does, but I don't know. It's just kind of it's like a big draft philosophy question for the Pistons. And like I said earlier, you want to take the fit, but not at the sacrifice of getting a player that could help you push forward and maybe change the way that you think the franchise is going with like the Ivies and Durans in place. Maybe it's this guy. Maybe it is Reza Shea. Maybe it's Modest Buzelis or obviously another non-shooter in like Ron Holland. When you have a SAR, is probably not going to be the best either. But it's kind of you kind of have to evaluate the entire roster as a whole of prospects and how you see them panning out, and whoever kind of those options are at the top of the draft in the top 5, you just kind of roll with them. But yeah, it's a hard thing to juggle because you also don't want to take another player who is talented, but in this context, they're not going to be able to do anything. And K's going to be even more frustrated at the fact that you got Alex Sarr who can't shoot yet, and Jalen Duren in the front court. You're back at step 1. You got to start the 3. Like nothing is going to happen that's positive in that environment. So it's like you have to figure out how to make decisions on the talents you have and make it make more basketball sense, and hopefully, get going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's probably a debate that I think a lot of NBA draft analysts like yourself and even Pistons fans too will probably have debates over, fit or, best available talent. Because I mean, like you could argue that, Alex Sarr is the best available talent, but maybe a guy like Reed Shepherd fits better with Kate in the backcourt because he can shoot the hell out of the ball. Like, I think it's an interesting conversation, but I could see where you're coming from in the aspect of, trying to get that best available player and trying to just maybe stockpile assets. If maybe that's their long-term goal. I don't really know. I don't even know if there is like an actual plan with this team right now, because like I was having conversations about like Gigi Jackson, who I thought would be a good fit for the Pistons. And they traded up to get who I love Marcus Sasser, by the way. I think he's a really good player, but I didn't really think we needed another guard when we had Jaden Ivey and Killian Hayes and others.
Yeah.
But Gigi's looking like a star, like straight up.
Yeah, that's a I didn't really understand that pick. I think Marcus Sasser is going to be a solid guard in the league in his career. But, honestly, just as a whole, like when you're talking about Gigi, the fact that he fell to 45 is kind of surprising. I kind of moved away from him a little bit more than I probably should have towards the end of the year. I just felt like maybe he was a little bit too, I would say like immature, or there just weren't enough like tangible things in his game. Like you can see all the upside of the shot creation, and that's what we've seen, especially with him getting the opportunity with Memphis having all their injuries. But yeah, for the Pistons, that's a guy that you absolutely want to get in the mix instead of an older, kind of undersized combo guard like Sasser, especially when you have Killian Hayes coming into the year, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, it didn't make like any sense. Like the whole offseason, the drafts, it's just like I like Sasser, but he's 23. I mean, it doesn't like really scare. He's right. He was 22, but 23 now. It didn't scare you. I get it, but I thought we needed more small forward depth because like at the time, all we really had was like Isaiah Livers. Like I love
Yeah.
Isaiah Livers because he went to Michigan. Like, I think he's a good player. He's just had like a lot of bad injury history. You know, coming through the draft and then not being able to stay healthy. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just a weird pick to me.
Yeah. That one was. I was actually kind of pretty surprised that he went that high, especially with some of the other options that were around. And anytime that you don't have wings, you should probably get one. And as raw as he was, and it's kind of revisionist history now in some cases, but I still felt like he was a worthy pick in the late first round for sure.